Hey guys, techmadeezy, and thank you so much for clicking on our video today. Yes, we are out in our backyard charging our batteries with a solar generator. These are also known as battery power stations. That's what I like to use. But as you can see, we've got our Ego, we've got our Milwaukee, our Toro, our Greenworks, and we are actually using the sun, as you can see. And we are also connected to 4 100-watt solar panels in this example. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over what equipment we used. We're going to go over how we set up the equipment. And then we're also going to go over how many times you can charge a battery using a different type of power station with a different type of battery. So why don't we go ahead and get started, because I think Brooklyn is ready as well. Right, Brooklyn? Let's get started. Hi, it's Al from techmadeezy with a real quick message. I just want to let you know the video you're about to watch is not sponsored. We went out and bought the products ourselves. So, if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up. It definitely helps. Share our video. And lastly, we hope you subscribe to our channel and become a part of the family. Thank you. So let me take a moment and really set your expectation on the video you're about to watch. So my goal in this video is really to help you understand that there are ways to reduce your electricity costs, especially when you're recharging your Toro battery, your Ego battery, your Greenworks battery, your Milwaukee battery, your Cobalt battery, right? You know, when we plug those back in and recharge them, we are paying for electricity. And in this example today, I'm going to be using solar to recharge my batteries. But there is a cost, right? Initially, I have to be able to purchase one of these power stations, right? The Delta Max, the River Pro, or even the Delta Mini, this smaller guy here, okay? But again, my goal is to show you what I'm using, what solar panels. I'm also going to be going over how many times I can charge the Toro battery or the Milwaukee battery with these different power stations, so that can help you as well, okay? So let's get started. I really hope you find this video helpful. All right, we are in the backyard, and I wanted to show you what we have set up here before we start, okay? Now we're going to be using the Delta Max 2000 power station. All right, this has a 2016 watt-hour capacity. Now, for some of you, you'd be like, what is that? Well, think of your phone battery, right? You ever go from an iPhone 7 to like an iPhone 12? I mean, the battery is so much better, right? Or you go from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 11 Max Pro. I mean, your battery is so much better. And what makes the battery better, it isn't just the technology the battery uses, but it's also the size of the battery as well. Now, obviously, you can see here, this is the Delta Max 2000. This is the Delta Mini. I mean, look how small that thing is in comparison, right? That's the smallest Delta they make. And then this is the River Pro. So this is the largest River they make. Now, what makes this unique is they make a battery that doubles the capacity, which for you is runtime, right? How long can I run my electronics on a battery? So we're going to be using the Delta Max in this test. And as you can see here, you know, we've got batteries, right? You know, Milwaukee, Greenworks, Toro. But we're going to be using the Ego 700-watt charger with the Ego battery, all right, in this example. Now, we're not going to tell you how long the test took to charge the battery. Our goal here is that you can actually charge your batteries up and save costs down the road. Now, of course, there's initial costs, right? You've got to buy solar panels. You've got to buy, you know, a power station. But think of it. I mean, this power station and these solar panels is all I need to generate free energy. I can recharge this power station using the sun. Now, depending on how much sun, depending on how many solar panels the power station can handle, because some of these, like I could never connect all 4 of those panels to this power station here, this specific one, because it doesn't have that ability. Whereas as you start going up, you can connect more solar panels. And, you know, depending on the size of the solar panels, the voltage, the amperage, which I'm not going to get into, it's too complicated, but the more solar, the more sun, the faster you're going to recharge. So I want to just go over what we're going to show you today. So we're going to have the Delta Max connected. It can actually handle up to 100 volts because we're going to be connecting these solar panels in series, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that, okay? I've got the cable that comes with the Delta Max. So this actually connects to the solar panels, and this connects to the back of the Delta Max, okay? So I've got these. Now what I need is extension cables. I need longer solar cables, okay? So as you can see here, I've got solar cables, about 40 feet of solar cables going out to the yard, because we're going to be setting up right there. Now, as you can see, I also have 2 tables. I don't want the solar panels on the floor, you know, just in case it rains or whatever it is. I mean, again, they're waterproof. These guys, you know, these are durable panels. These are not panels you need to worry about, but I'd rather them not sit in water. So I'm going to just lay them on tables. So again, tables, solar extension cable, solar panels, and obviously they call these solar generators. They're really battery power stations, right? Now, the reason why they call it a solar generator is because you can recharge these using the sun. You don't have to plug them into an AC outlet. You don't have to plug them into a car charger. And you can if you want. So let me get set up. I'll walk you through the setup so you can see it. And we can go from there. All right? I'll show you my setup, and I hope this helps. All right, good morning. So I'm going to show you how to connect these in series. Now they are upside down, but that's because I have to flip them afterwards. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take the panel on each side, and you want to just leave this cable available because you're going to connect this to the power station. So I'm just going to take that and put it aside. And so this cable here actually connects to this one here. And they're male and they're female. So you see we've got this one and this one. So we're connecting these. We clip it in, make sure we snap it in. You're going to go back and now connect this one to this one. Again, taking this and this and simply connecting them that way. Okay, now we've got this one free and we've got this one free, and we're simply going to connect this to the power station. So we're going to take the cables that came with the power station, all right, and now all we do is take this guy here, again, male and female, right? And we snap that together. All right, now we take this one, snap that together, and all we do now is the end of this wire is an XT60. It's going to connect directly to the power station. All right. Now the only thing different I'm going to do in a moment is I actually have to take the longer solar cables, all right, and connect them so that this is closer to the power station. But that is how to connect in series. So here are our extension cables. Now these are 40 feet. You can get 50 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet, but what we're going to do now is we're going to connect these cables that are going to connect to the Delta Max to the solar panels we have set up in series. So we're going to take our male into our female, and again female to male. And we're going to push these in. Just make sure they push in all the way, okay? You should click. But now I want you to see that we now have our two cables, these two guys, that are going to now connect to the Delta Max. And I want to talk about something important, so stay tuned. So here's the important message. As you can see, we're connected via series, and we have 4 solar panels. We are right around 98 volts, okay? Now the solar panels are 12-volt panels, but don't confuse that. Each of these have a rating on the back of them, and you want to make sure that you stay within the voltage range when you're connecting it to a solar generator or power station. Now the Delta Max can handle 100 volts of solar input, all right? I'll bring something up in a minute so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So here's a snapshot for you when you compare a smaller power station like the River Pro all the way to the Delta Pro. Now, we're using the Delta Max, and as you can see, I circled the max voltage input and also the max amperage input. When you're connecting solar panels in series, you really only need to worry about the voltage. So if I was connecting 4 24-volt solar panels to the Delta Max, I would be safe because I would be staying in range of the 100-volt maximum. And if I wanted to connect more, I couldn't because I can damage the Delta Max. So I hope you find this helpful. So we've connected the special cable that EcoFlow gave us, right? And it'll come out this side with an XT60. This is what this is called. All right, now Brooklyn's watching me closely. She's going to make sure that I'm doing the right job. But I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the back. And, you know, if you take a look at the Delta Max for a second, this is the Delta Max 2000 again. So what you'll see here is you've got plenty of AC outlets back here. You've got car charging outlets, and in the front you've actually got a bunch of USBs. Like, this is a really nice power station that you could have if you ever have a power outage or you're going camping, maybe in a cabin and you want power. But let's go ahead and plug this in. All right, we're going to open up that panel back there. And here's where the XT60 goes. So we're going to take it, we're going to plug it in, and we're going to see what kind of power we're getting. All right, so we are using the EcoFlow app to show us that with the 4 panels currently, we're getting 237 watts. So what it's doing is it's charging the battery in the Delta Max, right? And what we're going to do while we're charging the battery is we're actually going to charge an Ego battery. We've got our Ego charger. This is a 700 watt charger. Now, again, you want to make sure that whatever you connect this to can handle 700 watts. For an example, the River Pro is up to 600 watts normally. It could actually surge higher than that. But let's go ahead and connect the battery and then really see that we can actually charge our battery while our power station's being charged. Now, look at that. On the top, we've got 228 watts coming in. On the bottom, the charger is going up and up. It's 600 watts now. All right, again, solar input is 200 and something watts on top. On the bottom, we are at 620 some odd watts that the charger is actually using. And think about it, if you use solar when you can to recharge your power station, you can then use that power to charge your devices instead of plugging these into the outlets. And that's really the goal of our video, right? Now, while our battery is charging, let's talk a little bit about solar. So, understand something. We've got our panels laying on a table. They're not in their best position to actually get the most wattage. But you know what? If we had to put this on a special stand and angle them all day long, that would be crazy. But sometimes you need to do that. I could probably get over 300 watts if I angled this correctly to the sun, right? Because the sun is like, boom, right there. All right? So normally when you're playing with solar, you usually want to angle your panels and have them in the best angle so that they get the most sun. We're not going to do that. We just wanted to show you our setup here and how we're trying to save some money by charging our batteries using the sun. I want to show you something also. When you are using solar in series, you see here we have 129 watts coming in from solar. All right, I'm going to show you something now. If one of your panels, just one of your panels, has some type of blockage from the sun, watch what happens. I'm going to take this, throw this on there. All right, right there. That's it. One panel, a little bit of blockage. I want you to see what happens with the solar input. Zero. Now, it might go a little higher than zero, but think about that. Just that one blockage. And now, to my knowledge, that's an advantage of parallel, because if one of your panels are blocked, it will still use the others, but it doesn't use voltage, it uses amperage. All right, so let me go unblock that panel and then give it a moment to kind of reset. But just this little blockage, boom, all of a sudden, all that sun going on the other panels, nothing, right? So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, it's going to take a moment, but maybe by the time we get to it, all right, yep, it's back up already. Look at that, 135 watts solar. So don't allow any shading on your panels. Try your best to move all three of them into the sunlight, and you will see that work. So that's just good to know when you're connecting in series. By the way, look at the wattage we're getting right now. That sun is really strong. We're getting 300 watts of solar input, and we've already finished charging our Ego battery, which is really cool. But, you know, 4 panels, the sun's really strong, they're 100-watt panels, we're getting 300 watts. Pretty cool. One cool thing about the Delta Max power station and a few of the others, you could actually be indoors while you're charging via solar. Look at that, 336 watts coming in, powering and charging the Delta Max, so I can use it to charge batteries and power other devices. So, you know, just wanted to share that with you. But look at the wattage, 335 watts. I was as high as 340 just a little while ago. All right, so I want to continue to give you helpful information before you make the decision to get yourself a power station and or get yourself some solar panels. All right, so first of all, know the limits of the power station you buy. Very important, right? So if you're gonna go and want to get a power station to recharge your batteries and also use it for other things, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a moment, because you know, you're not going to buy this just to charge your batteries. You know, most people won't. You could do a lot more with these machines. So let's start off with the River Pro. The River Pro maxes at 200 watts of solar. And if you're connecting your panels in series, this can only handle one panel in most cases, right? Now, you know, again, I'm going to average most panels at being about 25 volts in general when you're looking at a 100-watt panel. All right, and I'm going to talk a little bit about panels in a little while, the regular ones, the foldable ones, okay? But so the River Pro is nice for maybe emergency situations and backups and stuff, but really not great if you're looking to get that free power from the sun to then reuse it to charge your batteries, and obviously reuse it to take on trips and a whole bunch of other stuff. Nice machine, but you can connect one panel to that thing. Now let's look at the Mini. Okay, now the Mini is a newer model, and this is the original Delta Pro. I call it the OD. All right, the original Delta. It's the first one that came out that really took off for EcoFlow. And so let's look at the Mini. Now the Mini can handle up to 300 watts of solar. All right. It goes up to 75 volts of input, solar input. And so that means you can handle probably about 3 solar panels. And what does that mean? That if you compared these two, I could recharge this unit faster because I can connect more solar, and I can handle up to more voltage. So I can connect those 3 panels in series and recharge this faster, and then it's ready for me to recharge my batteries, take on trips. Now let's look at the original Delta. So the original Delta here, this guy is the 1300, by the way, just so you'll know. This can go up to 400 watts of solar input, but it's actually only 65 volts of solar input. All right, so this is 75 volts and this is 65 volts. So what does that mean? Well, if a panel averages 25 volts or a little less, I can connect 2 panels to the Delta. I could connect 3 panels to the Delta Mini. So I'm already liking a Mini. Now, if you look at the Delta Max, well, if you have the budget, this is going to serve so many purposes. But the Delta Max can go up to 800 watts of solar input and a handle up to 100 volts of voltage when you're charging in series, right? And I can connect 4 panels. You saw that in the beginning, right? We connected 4 panels, and we were able to get over 325 watts coming in from the sun at some points. So now I didn't bring the Delta Pro because that thing's 100 pounds. But if we look at the Delta Pro, well, that can handle 1,600 watts of solar input and can also handle 150 volts, right? What does that mean? I can actually connect up to 6 solar panels to the Delta Pro, and I can charge that just as quick. But again, it's a beast and it's pretty heavy, so you're not going to probably take that with you on trips. But the sweet spot, to me, I like the Max and I like the Mini. All right, let's talk about solar panels for a minute now. So we just talked about knowing your voltage and your limits to your power stations, right? Now we're going to talk about knowing your limits and your capabilities of your solar panels. So let's go over that now. So I'm going to start off with the Renogy panels. So the one in the middle here, you've seen that before. We connected 4 earlier, right? So that is 24.4 volts, okay? And it sells for around $99. Again, we're going to put links in the description, but I really just want to make sure you're understanding the limit. So even though this is a 100-watt, 12-volt panel, in the back of the panel, you're going to see, when you turn around or you look at the website, you're going to see that it has something called open circuit voltage, also known as VOC. Whenever you hear VOCs, it's open circuit voltage. And you want to stay, obviously want to add these up so that I'm using 2 panels or 3 panels based off what your power station can do. So $99, okay, and 24.4 volts. But check this out. Renogy 200-watt panel, okay, cost more. It's about $250, right? But this is actually 27 volts. So if you connected 2 of these, you would be about 50 volts, right? Think about that. Instead, you could actually get one of these, stay within the voltage range of what you're connecting, the panel to, which power station, and 27 volts, right? Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I don't know if you were aware that they make panels like this, very thin, panels that you can mount. As you can see, they've got the mounting holes. So you know, I'll put some of this stuff in the description, the link, so you can have these and look at these and think about buying these. But let's talk about the foldable panels now by EcoFlow. So I've got 3 panels here. Bottom right's 110 watt. That's 160 watt. And the big boy back there is 400 watt. And let me just say, if you're going to buy a foldable panel that has a handle and is portable and all that good stuff, you're going to pay a premium. A lot of times you will pay 100% or more. So be aware. Now let's talk about, you know, the voltage here and some of the costs. So the 110 watt panel sells for around $3.99. Again, a lot of times it goes on sale, so I'm just giving you kind of the full price. $3.99. A lot of times goes on sale, and this is a 21.7 volt panel. Now, if you go to the 160, this is a 450 watt, $450 panel, but it's 21.4 volts, so it actually takes up less voltage and gives you more. 110, 160. Now look at the big boy back there. That is huge. And I'm going to show you a video in a minute so you can see how big that is. But that is $1,199. And it's a 48 volt panel. All right? Let me go ahead and bring up a video so you can see what that big 400 watt panel looks like. All right? But I hope this information's helpful. There it is. Compared to Brooklyn, that is one big panel. But let me tell you, it produces some really good wattage. So, you want a recommendation? Well, I'm going to make one. Minimum, if you're going to be using these power stations to charge your batteries, and you want something that you can also have if your power goes out and you want to keep your refrigerator plugged in for a little while, maybe a couple of hours. You want to bring this on a road trip and connect your drone to it and charge your batteries, or power up your devices for your kids. Look at this Mini for a minute. So you've got USB Type-C 100 watt. You've got 2 USBs and then 1 fast charge. You turn this around, you've got, 5 AC outlets, okay? And you also have a DC outlet, so you can plug in a car charger. And there's even a cable I'll show you a picture of where you can convert these. I'll put the picture up right there so you can see what that looks like. And I'll put a link in the description. But look, this is my recommendation. This guy is nice. It doesn't weigh much. It is kind of a perfect mix of where do I start? Look, I don't recommend the River Pro. I don't, because if you're not going to use solar, then go ahead. It's a great machine. It can really supply decent wattage and decent runtime, especially when you add the add-on battery, right? This doesn't have an add-on battery, but this is 720 watt hours. This is 882, but this handles more wattage. Okay, if you saw the screens that I showed you earlier, definitely a big difference in how much power this can handle. All right, but my recommendation would be to get the Delta Mini, because it can handle multiple solar panels. It can handle up to 300 watts of solar input. It's small, it's portable. It sells for about $9.99, but again, goes on sale a lot. I will put links in the description. Use our links, and you support our channel, by the way, too, at no additional cost to you. All right? But that's my recommendation. Seriously, it's a nice little machine. So here we are on another day right before we leave for work. I laid down 2 160 watt solar panels. The sun is right up in the sky right now, and that will come a little higher above these panels and give me even more power. But I'm grabbing that free power from the sun, connected to my 40-foot extension cables. And guess what? I am charging 3 batteries at the same time. All right, I've got my fast charger charging 1 battery and my dual charger charging 2 more batteries. I am outputting currently 727 watts and receiving a little under 200 watts right now in solar. Okay, so amazing. I'll leave this up. you can hit pause if you want to look at the wattage on each of these machines and the battery capacity, which is really what the watt hours is. Hit pause, take a look at it, but the next screen you're going to be very interested in, because I am going to go over examples of batteries and how many times these power stations can charge those batteries. Some good stuff coming up. I hope this next slide really helps you. I took some time to give you some examples based off the different batteries and how many times you could charge these with the different power stations. Now, what I did was I grabbed a 5 amp hour battery from each of these manufacturers. So if you look on the top, we've got an Ego 56 volt 5 amp hour, a Greenworks 5 amp hour, 60 volt, RYOBI 40 volt 5 amp hour, Milwaukee M18, which is 18 volt 5 amp hour, and the Toro 60 volt 5 amp hour. All right, now below that I gave you how many watt hours the batteries have. Now if you compare that to the power stations, look at the difference, right? So the Ego, look at the Ego, it's 280 watt hours. And then look at the Greenworks, right? 300 watt hours. RYOBI, 200 watt hours. The Milwaukee, 90 watt hours. And the Toro, 300 watt hours. And that is the capacity of the battery. Remember that iPhone I was talking about earlier? I mean, if you compared an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 11 Max Pro, that 11 Max Pro would last probably 5 more hours because of the type of battery and the capacity. Now, take a look at the estimate numbers of charges. That should be helpful to you as well. So if the River Pro on an Ego would give you 2.5 charges with that Ego battery right there, that one battery. If you use the Delta Mini, you would get 3.15 charges because it has more of a capacity. The Delta 1300 would give you 4.5 charges on that Eco battery. The Delta Max 2000 would give you 7.2 charges on that one battery. And look at the Delta Pro, it would give you 12.85 charges on that one battery. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole chart, but if you look at this chart, the estimate number of charges based off of the capacities of those batteries and the capacities of those power stations, that's pretty good stuff. I really hope you found that helpful. Here's a quick snapshot of the equipment we used as well as some costs. The Delta Max 2000, which is 2016 watt hours, sells for around $2,099, but definitely goes on sale. We used 4 12-volt 100-watt solar panels made by Renogy, and these sell anywhere from $95 to $109 each. We also used 40-foot extension solar cables. These sell for around $59 and definitely come in different sizes. We'll put some links in the description if you're interested and you need any help. All right, well, we're excited to tell you that our battery was fully charged with no problem. We have a 700-watt charger, we have a 7.5 amp hour battery, and we plugged it into our Delta Max 2000 after charging this with the sun for free. So we saved some money, and long term we'll save some money, okay? It took about 55 minutes to charge the battery, all right? We used 420 watt hours out of the 2016 watt hour capacity. So that's not bad. That tells us we can charge that battery 3 to 4 times using this power station. We've got about 73% left right now on this battery, and we can use this for so many more things because it's not just a battery, right? And the other thing I'll leave you with, it's a little bit more complicated, but when you look at your electricity bill, you'll see that you get billed in kilowatt hours, right? Well, to charge that battery, we used a little less than half of a kilowatt hour. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video and it was helpful in some way. If it did, give us a thumbs up. We would really appreciate a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Share our video as well, And if you're not a subscriber, hey, subscribe, become a member of the family. We'd love to have you. Ask any questions and have a great, great day. Hey guys, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. As you can see, Brooklyn, she's waving her tail for you. Take a moment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell and you'll get notified of new videos we come out with. Also, follow us and contact us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.